Hans and Christy, this is Donnie Vaughn. I wanted to show you real quickly before we get too far into how to change things on the website. Wanted to show you how the interface works with WordPress. And we do all that through what we call the dashboard. Now what we've provided to you is a username and password. Once you log in, you're going to log in to this. This is what we call the dashboard. You see it's for the Swiss pastry shop. And this is your dashboard. This is kind of where everything, when you want to make a change, for the most part, this is where you'll do that. Now, I will tell you, and this tutorial is just going to give you kind of a glimpse of what, just kind of an overview of this dashboard. I will provide to you specific tutorials on how to change things on your website a little later. But just so you give you some idea, if any time you want to come to this, this is what you will see. Now, there are some things like this kind of at a glance. You really don't need to concern yourself too much with this. This little button right here, change theme, please do not ever push that. If you did, the whole site would mess up completely, and we don't want to do that. So just avoid that button right there. This right here, you don't want to really do anything with this on your site. The other things that's on here, some of these are just news, and again, you probably won't worry too much about what's on there. Most of what you're going to be concerned about is all up and down here on this sidebar. And you see all these different options. Some of these you'll change, some of these you will never change. So I just wanted to kind of give you some idea of what you're looking at here. If you ever click, by the way, if that ever happens, see what I'm clicking here? I'm clicking that little arrow. That just kind of, if you ever came across and you didn't know where all those things were, just click that little double arrow right there, and it expands that. That's all that is. Okay. WordPress was set up initially as a blogging software. So you would type your blogs and so forth. And then over the years, it has become a great website tool that you can still have a blog with if you wanted to. We do not have a blog set up on your site. Doesn't mean that we could never add one. But for your situation, we don't have a blog, so we don't have anything to update on that. Anytime you talk about blog entries, that's where you have the word posts. So if somebody was to do a blog post, this is where they do that. Again, since we don't have that for your site, we don't have to worry about that. And by the way, if ever you see these and you don't know how to expose, all you have to hit these, hover over it and hit the arrow. That exposes the drop-down menus. This is the media library. I'll do another tutorial on how to add images to your media library in certain places. There are some other places that you'll put images in another place, but that'll be covered in another tutorial. You really don't need to do anything with the links here. The pages, I'm going to show you another tutorial how to make those. So come back later for a tutorial, separate tutorial on that. You don't have to do anything with the comments because that again is tied to a blog, and so there's nothing you need to do with that. This particular thing here, this is a real critical one. If you were to click these are different steps that you can go through, and you probably won't need to do any of these. That's more kind of for us on our back end stuff. The settings, you will show you a few times that you're going to need to go to this section here to make changes. The contact page, I'm not even sure if we use this. Okay, that's something different that we're not using right now. So if we just ignore the contact page because that's not the contact form that we're using for your site. Featured images, I talk about this. We'll be talking about this in another tutorial, so you can just ignore that for now. The appearance. This is a big one for what you're going to need to use. A couple things about this. You use what we currently call the Blue Essence theme. That's the template that we use. Please do not ever change that. Don't ever play around and say, let me see if I activate one of these, what that's going to do. You don't ever want to do that because that would completely foul up the theme, similar to what we saw in that other thing at the very beginning of your dashboard, which I think was located like right here. Yeah. That change theme does a similar thing that if you were to activate any of these others or something like that, you just don't want to do that. We have designed your site with all the images and text to fit a particular theme, which is this Blue Essence theme. If we change that, it would just really mess everything up. The widgets, we're going to cover several of these widgets in a several tutorials, so stay tuned for that. The editor here, I would probably ask you to stay away from this as much as possible. There might be a time or two where I have to direct you to this, but if I do, I want you to follow exactly what we tell you to do on this. But more than likely, this is kind of where, this is all that HTML code. Uh, the code looks much different than this before we get it, and then once this is where we kind of customize the colors and images and headers that you see here, and a variety of other things. So you just kind of ignore this. Don't worry about add new themes. The custom header, again, this is where we had to make this custom header. Just ignore that text that's right there behind it. But that's where we put that in there. So that's all covered in the appearance. You keep going down the sidebar, plugins, again, nothing you need to worry about on that. And probably don't need to worry about anything below here as well. There is a form on here. We've got a website contact form. This is the form that we're actually using. And we probably won't, I don't know if I'll do a tutorial on that one or not, but if you ever need to change on that, let us know. The gallery, this will be a place where you also could do different things with the slideshow of images, but we'll talk about that in another tutorial if we decide to do that. And I think that is it. StatsPress, we won't worry about that right now. So that's what you see in the dashboard. Again, this is just a quick overview that you see from the dashboard. The rest of it, I think you should be fine with. And just to give you some idea what you're going to be doing. We don't want to make this overwhelming to you. We want to keep it pretty simple, which is why we provide the additional tutorials that you are going to be viewing on your tutorials page. And that gives you a more simpler approach to how to change things on the website. So just take it one step at a time, and I think you'll find it to be very easy. If at any time you are having trouble making changes following any of the tutorials, part of what you pay for is this annual support and hosting fee. That support fee gives you the ability to, you can call us, you can email us and say, this is what I'm trying to change. I don't know how to do it, or I tried to change it and something messed up. Please make sure you reach out to us and let us help you with that, because again, that is part of what the support fee covers. Okay, that covers the overview of the dashboard.